This is KTVB-7 Boise, Idaho. It's 5 o'clock.
Teach them how to stop bullying and be
And it is time now for NewsCenter 7, live at 5, for the stories of Tuesday, January 15th, 1985, with Peter Wiggins. Good afternoon, evening, everybody, on this Tuesday, January 15th, 1985. I'm Peter Wiggins. Today is what's up on NewsCenter 7 live at 5. In Washington, President Reagan met with Belgian Prime Minister Wilfried Martens on Monday to urge that Belgium deploy new American nuclear missiles. But a spokesman for Martens later said it was unlikely that the deployment would be taking place in March as planned. The military and technical schedule for deployment no longer exists, said the Belgian government spokesman Lou de Klerk. It will be replaced by a political decision to be taken at the end of March. Martens himself is a cable news network interview that we will make a decision in March after consultation over the NATO allies. CBS News reported Monday evening that Martens told CBS News that his government would begin deployment in March. He said that Belgium would decide that whether the missiles would be based there. The United States has taken the position that a failure to deploy in March would be a breach in the solidarity and the issue among the NATO allies. Reagan also said after his session with Martens that the progress we are now enjoying in arms control discussions is linked to the alliance commitment to modernize our defenses at the steps we've been taking to maintain a balance of nuclear forces in Europe. A senior White House official who spoke on condition that he will not be unified said that during the White House meeting that Martens discussed the political ramifications of various deployment options. He did not indicate that any decision that had been taken, but rather than further consultation would be taken. Our position is unchanged. We've been believing that the Belgians should deploy the schedule as they are committed to do, the official said. Martin had told a reporter who regarded in the March deployment decision there will be a vote of confidence in the Parliament and it is not excludable that we will
no doubt make it many moves.
Be defeated, but in that case there will be new elections. The whole question is get a majority to sustain that decision in the government. In a public statement earlier Monday after this 2 hours of talks with Reagan, Martin said, I confirm our attachment in a NATO dual-track decision, which is an expression of firmness to defense and to an dialogue. Martens will be referring to NATO's 1999 decision to play a new generation of intermediate-range Pershing II cruise missiles in Western Europe, while at the same time seeking to negotiate arms reduction with the Kremlin. The decision was taken in response to Soviet deployment of triple warhead SS-20 missiles in NATO countries. In his remarks after a meeting where Martens, Reagan said the topic of the new nuclear weapons was given special emphasis in the discussions, and that the two men placed a high priority on reducing nuclear weapons. In Twin Falls, school administrators have no plan to add teachers to the district staff level. The State Department of Education has even cited the Twin Falls Elementary School for overcrowding. Two of the district's elementary schools, Morningside and Harrison, have been issued warnings and may be denied state approval if class size is not reduced within 2 years. However, reducing class size likely means that in Savage said there are no way we will be able to add teachers. Acting Superintendent Carl Snow said Monday. Snow says that the district cannot afford to add more teachers overall. The I.B. Perino Elementary School, which is currently under construction, will add 20 new classrooms. Snow says that the district will need to go to the public for override levy money to pay for the furniture and the equipment and library books for the new school. Elementary schools received from the Department of Education one of the 4 ratings approved, advised, and warned and not approved. If a school is issued advised ratings 2 years in the row, it is issued a warning rating and must be correct the situation to lose Department of Education approval. The State Board of Education will be acting on the recommendation of the Department of its January meeting. They got a problem with there they got to deal with, says David Stedman, the Department of Education officially charged with school reviews. Stedman says that Twin Falls is one of the half-dozen districts in the state with a substantial overcrowding problems. There are 1 of 16 districts in that state. Still says that overcrowding may be partially alleviated in the St. Edward's Catholic School opens its doors. Next year, he says the upper-level elementary teachers may be shifted to the lower grades to relieve the pressure. Department of Education approval reviews cover 10 categories ranging from the enrollment and record keeping to class sizes and school building condition. Lincoln School, despite its approval recommendation, was cited for 3 overcrowded classrooms and 4 inadequate teaching areas. Pickle and Morningside Elementary Schools were issued advisories for overcrowded classrooms and inadequate teaching areas. Pickle had 2 overcrowded classrooms and Sawtooth had 6. Warnings were issued to the Harrison and Morningside Elementary Schools. Harrison had 6 overcrowded rooms and Morningside had 10. Both schools were cited for space problems. Snow says the district's maintenance and operations budget will have to be increased by 9% or about $70,000 to cover the cost of running the Ivy Green School. A new library for the school will be cost about $200,000, said the assistant Kent Heaton. Heaton said that the district will move textbooks from other schools into the new school. Snow said about $50,000 worth of the equipment and furniture will have to be bought for a new school. As much as possible in the new building will use equipment from other schools and has been not being used. Snow says that the district is performing an inventory to determine what equipment can be moved. Snow says the override levy has brought to the taxpayers will include funds for the new school as well as funds for the roof at the Robert Stewart Junior High School, burl work at Lincoln Elementary School, and upkeep fund for the district's maintenance operations. Twin Falls. Teresa Claps, a 29-year-old former bankruptcy court trustee from Twin Falls, appeared in U.S. District Court in Boise late Monday afternoon and pleaded guilty to embezzlement of a total of $617,069.67 to local area bankruptcy funds. U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Ring of Boise has said that closed a federal indictment and admitted a single felony charge involving fraudulently appropriating for the money for her own use. He said the actions Monday afternoon prevented the clause from being brought to the court on a denominative trial because any sentences on separate embezzlement charges for individual bankruptcy cases involving would undoubtedly run concurrently. The attorneys agreed to combine charges into the one felony count. Ring said the close will appear February 25th for sentencing in U.S. District Court before Judge Harold L. Ryan. A pre-sentence investigation will be made before them. Meanwhile, Class new married to P.J. Pratt of Kimberly is free and $5,000 bond. According to the United States Attorney, the guilty plea to the felony embezzlement would carry a 5-year prison sentence of $5,000 finable fee. He said, however, that terms under the agreement approved Monday call for Close to make full restitution for the $616,069.67. She must also submit a full list of her assets. Terms for making that restitution will be set by the United States Probation Office. Ring said it would depend on that. In Provo, convicted murderer Dan Lafferty is scheduled to be sentenced in 4th District Court today, but prosecutors have left open the possibility that may ask Judge J. Robert Bullock for a new trial. Lafferty was convicted last week of 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Brenda Wright Lafferty, 24, and her 15-month-old daughter Erica in American Fork just past July. Under Utah law, Bullock cannot impose a death penalty because jurors failed to reach a consensus during the period of the penalty phase of their deliberations on Friday. Meanwhile, Lafferty's brother, Ren Lafferty, who also is charged with the slaying, was taken from his security area at the Utah State Hospital Monday to the Utah Valley Regional Medical Center. The Utah County Sheriff's Gary Clayton. Clayton said Lafferty was scheduled to undergo further brain tests to determine the extent of damage done during an apparent hanging attempt on December 29th. The hospital and sheriff department officials said that the test should be coming by today, opening the way for both the real on Ron Lafferty's competence to stand trial for the murders of Mrs. Wright, his sister-in-law, and her 15-month-old daughter. Lafferty originally was scheduled to stand trial with his brother, but his court date was postponed after the apparent hanging. He was found in his jail cell December 29th and spent several days in a coma before he regained consciousness and was transferred to state hospital. The 6-man, 6-woman jury convicted Dan Lafferty of 2 counts of capital homicide and 2 counts each of aggravated robbery and criminal conspiracy. Co-prosecutor Wayne Watson and Utah County Attorney Noel Wooten held day-long meetings on Monday to discuss whether to ask for a new trial, said Secretary who asked them not her name to be used. As Watson said last week that he may be filed for a new trial because one juror had been prejudiced by information given to her during the trial, and then Lafferty does receive a new trial. He would be facing a new jury which would have the option of imposing a death sentence if he's found guilty again. In Boise, long an advocate of the nation's most conservative causes, former Representative George Henson apparently taken into promoting the lead's interest through Washington, D.C. Lobbyist Henson, a convicted felon, was served a total of 7 terms as representative of Idaho's 2nd Congressional District as directed members of Idaho's Congressional Delegation refer calls to his new office and organizations and new Continental Congress. I assume it is going to be lobbying for public causes, prayer in school, and a balanced budget and other issues, says Scott Fisher, spokesman for Representative Larry Craig, congressman from the Idaho's 1st Congressional District. Henson, who was narrowly defeated by Democrat Richard Stallings in the November 6th general election, declined to return phone calls requesting additional information on his organization and his plans. Henson is appealing his 4-count conviction for violating the Federal Ethics in Government Act. Nashville, Tennessee. Delegates to the NCAA convention are getting ready to vote on a rule which would have made dozens of members of Brigham Young's #1 football team ineligible. Proposals to number 123 on the convention agency An agenda says the actors who spend time on the Armed Forces official church mission will no longer be granted waivers to the NCAA's 5-year rule. The general rule of NCAA schools is that an athlete has 5 years after high school to complete the 4 years of eligibility for the varsity. Many players, however, in the West, particularly Mormons, have a 2-year church missionary program that spreads the competition over 7 years. Among the 52 BYU Cougars on this year's team who served 2-year church missions and then resumed their athletic careers was Marv Allen, a 24-year-old all-conference linebacker who helped the Cougars nail down the national championship by defeating Michigan in the Holiday Bowl. Allen played for the BYU when the Cougars met Navy in 1978 in the inaugural Holiday Bowl and then redshirted the Navy after a 2-year mission for the church in Thailand. There's no question of having so many older players giving them advantage. You have 19, 20-year-olds competing against guys who are 24 and 25. It's bound to be an advantage in physical maturity and mental poise. The will to be sponsored by the powerful NCAA Council to that, and many believe that will win approval despite organized opposition from BYU and many other Western universities will probably be voted upon on Wednesday, the last day of the 79th annual NCAA convention. This could have been devastating consequence for us, said Brigham Young athletic director Glenn Tuck and I had even thinking about it. Devin Durant, a second-time All-American forward of BYU's basketball team last year, had served a 2-year mission in Spain. I asked Devin every hour practice on played basketball when he was on the mission, and we said one day, and he and some kids bounced the soccer ball around. Said Tuck, no, how does that give that an advantage for him to stay away from the game for 2 years? In Boise, a pending hearing on the Idaho's legislature right to work bill erupted in a bitter dispute by the Senate State Affairs Committee on Monday. The outnumbered Democrats at the panel were mad because the majority Republicans decided to hold a joint hearing with the House Tuesday on a right to work bill without consulting with the Democrats. Senator John Peavy, Democratic carries, called it on an outrage that Republicans would make a major decision like that behind closed doors and without consulting in the minority party. Before the discussion was over, Chairman Senator Walter Yarborough, Republican Grandview, complaining that there's integrity been questioned about the adjourning of the meeting. Peavy said it was a dangerous thing for the majority party to run roughshod over the minority to try to ram it down the people's votes. Legislation without checks and balances is a dangerous thing. That's a dictatorship. Peavy said, I understand what it is. Said Yarborough was in his 21st year in the Idaho Senate that the Chamber's senator member who was senior. I don't need you to be lectured by you. Yarborough to Peavy. When Democrats tried to prolong the debate, Yarborough said, I don't want to argue about it anymore, and adjourned the committee. That left the legislature with a major hearing Tuesday on a right-to-work legislation to ban compulsory union membership on a condition of employment. But Tuesday's hearing, which will be limited to 2.5 hours, may be only one in either House or Senate. Representative Walter Little, Republican of New Plymouth, said that he had planned to allow only 2.5 hours of testimony and then would push the committee into a quick decision on right to work. And Peavy and other Democrats in the Senate State Affairs Committee. Senator Warren told them that only hearing on 8 right to work would be a joint one with the House on Tuesday. Peavy complained that 18 hours on notice weren't enough to allow testimony from people living in other parts of the state. Little announced last week that he has a plan to hear early this week on the bill. Notice was posted early Monday morning that the hearing would be Tuesday. Peavy said that the other Democrats on the Senate panel complained that they didn't learn about the joint hearing until late Monday afternoon. Upon questioning from the Democrats, Yarborough said that the Republican majority decided on a joint session as that touched up a vote over whether the GOP should be consulted with Democrats before making a decision. And before the change was over, Yarborough said he had originally been willing to hold a Senate hearing on right to work, but not win over it. Senator Kermit Kilbert, Democrat from Hope Minority Vote Leader, complained that the people feel shortchanged because he was able to testify about the right to work. Kilbert said, I hope it doesn't look like we're trying to end run around people with a sincere interest in the bill, he said. In Boise, Magic Valley, members of the legislature committee have scheduled a work public hearing today on proposed legislation disagree on how much public comment needed to receive the emotional issue. Opponents of the bill, which should outlaw mandatory nation of the union membership without a condition of employment, expressed outrage, but the chairman of the legislature's two germane committees had decided to limit public comment on the proposed law. But while Senator John Peavy, Democratic carries, was battling in the Senate State Affairs Committee with Chairman Walter Yarborough over the deficiencies he perceived with today's joint hearing. Representative Vard Chatburn, Republican Beyond Vice Chairman of the House State Affairs Committee, was telling the Times News that he sees the joint hearing in the pro-den exercise of the chairman. Okay, now in the weather here. Right now, our current conditions at Boise Air Terminal at 6 o'clock. on this at 5 o'clock on this January the 15th, 1985 on a Tuesday. We have a temperature of.
I guess I'm a Rudy Gay guy. Why are the Raptors better without him?
Well, I had a chance to talk to Dwayne Casey this morning about that subject. And he said, with all due respect to Rudy Gay, Rudy's a bit of a ball stopper.
27 degrees with a wind chill about 19, the dew point about 14 degrees, humidity 58%, barometer 3.46 inches, physically about 10 miles per hour, winds west about 7, and condition it's part of class, guys. Okay, let's take a look at our
moving crisper. On top of that,
around the state, it's 30 at Mountain Home, 26 in Twin Falls, 23 out of Bernie, 23 in Malata, 20 out in Pocatello, 12 in Idaho Falls, 26 out in Sun Valley, 27 in McCall, 21 out in Central Idaho, 32
while trying to get the win tonight, stopping 9
out in.
And Gerald Wallace had some very interesting comments to the Boston Herald. Let's just call him an unhappy camper, why don't we, Chris? He says, you're watching, you know you can still
Chalice
and you watch guys in front of
at 32 degrees there. It's 26 in Coeur d'Alene, 38 out in Missoula, 24 in Spokane, 38 in Kalispell, Montana, 30 in Butte, Montana, 31 in Bozeman, 35 in Helena, and 36 in Great Falls, and 12 in Idaho Falls.
Gerald, hold up, my man.
Okay, let's take a look at our map situation shows around in the country. Snow taking place in New England and down Atlantic Canada and stretching on through New York and Pennsylvania down to the Mid-Atlantic region and stretching on in eastern Ohio. Another batch of snow from western Iowa and Minnesota stretching on the Dakotas and the northern Nebraska and stretching on the eastern Wyoming up into Montana and down to northern Colorado. While high pressure centered in Tennessee and southern Idaho and staging a cold front from central Arizona down from New Mexico down to Texas and Oklahoma down from Kansas, a warm front from Kansas, stretching down to Arkansas and Atlanta, and rain showers from southern Louisiana, stretching down from southern Texas down from northern Mexico and southern New Mexico, and a batch of rain showers in western Oregon and Washington coastlines here. Alright, let's take a look at our forecast there for the Twin Falls, Burley, Rupert, Jerome, and Gooding. Tonight and Wednesday, airs of fog and smoke, otherwise fair. Southwest wind about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Low tonight, 0 to 5 above. Highs tomorrow, 20 to 25 degrees. For Comounts, Prairie, Huntley, and Low, or Wood River Valleys, it'll be today and Wednesday, be airs of fog and low clouds tonight, and then Wednesday, otherwise fair. Highs in the turns in mid-20s and lows tended below the 5.
Are you in pain? Call America.
Above 0 and light winds. For Utah, variable high clouds throughout Wednesday, increasing valley haze and airs of fog, cold, highs in the teens and colder, lows 5 below to 15 below. And for Nevada, most slant today except local areas of dense fog, a dense morning fog. And for tonight and Wednesday, highest temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s, lows and teens and low 20s.
Yes, from sports to concerts to fair, we can find you the seat and stay for ourselves.
Okay, that's gonna be it for the weather, and I will have.
These days, everything your business does is done on the internet.
For sports and a little bit.
And tomorrow, you'll do even more. That's what Comcast Business was built for.
On NewsCenter 7, live at Fox. Stay tuned.
It was built for stuff like this. Sign up for Internet Invoice and find out how to get 4 weeks of Tomorrow Ready Internet for free. And you'll be ready for tomorrow too. Comcast Business, built for business.
Okay, let's get on into sports. Chet Simmons in New York resigned Monday as commissioner of the United States Football League Announced. And a man rumored to be a successor rapper in New York to continue dialogue about the job with the league club owners. Los Angeles attorney Harry Usher, who was executive vice president and general manager of the Los Angeles Olympic Organizing Committee, said he would consider the job under the proper set of circumstances. I have talked periodically with various owners concerning it, and he said, hopefully I can continue the dialogue positively. Usher was considered the right-hand man of Peter V. Ubroff, the president of the LAOC, when he became commissioner of baseball on October 1st. Shortly after the financially successful Olympic Games had ended, A. Alfred Tubman, chairman of the USFL Special Committee for the Commissioner's Office, announced that Simmons had stepped down and said a search was underway